What if I told you that the Mayan elite turned intimacy into something far darker than desire, that their bedrooms were temples of blood, power, and terrifying ritual? For the Mayan rulers, sex was never just pleasure. It was politics, it was power, and it was sacrifice. The Mayan elite believed their bloodlines were chosen by the gods, and their bodies became offerings in twisted ceremonies meant to keep that divine power alive. Before their most secret ceremonies, the Mayan elite prepared with intoxicating drinks, hallucinogenic herbs, and even bloodletting to merge pain with pleasure. Sex for them was no private act. It was theater, a spectacle performed before gods, priests, and often before an audience. But these acts were never just for lust. They were meant to summon gods. Every moan, every cry, every drop of blood was an offering. The elite even believed that spilling sexual fluids on sacred altars could strengthen the bond between mortals and gods. In some ceremonies, pleasure was mixed with pain. Nobles were cut, pierced, and bled, while intimacy continued as if suffering itself was sacred. Some ceremonies demanded even more, the forced participation of slaves, captives, and women taken as tribute from conquered lands. For the Mayan elite, domination was pleasure. And what better way to display power than to turn the suffering of others into entertainment? But intimacy alone was never enough. Blood had to be spilled, and so many rituals ended with sacrifice, sometimes right in the middle of their forbidden acts. The mixture of sexual climax and violent death was to them the highest offering, a merging of life's greatest forces given to their gods. Some of the most sinister rituals involved young virgins whose first night was turned into a ceremony of terror overseen by priests. To the Mayans, virginity was power. Taking it under sacred rites meant binding the girl's spirit forever to the gods. And when these ceremonies ended, the victims were rarely seen again. Some were sacrificed immediately, their bodies fed to fire, blood to stone. Some stories even speak of necromantic rituals, where bodies of the dead were used again, in ways too disturbing to imagine. These were not acts of love. They were acts of control, of domination, of feeding gods with both lust and fear. And the more they indulged, the more they believed their gods rewarded them, with victory, with reign, with life itself. But beneath the gold, the jade, and the feathers was only blood, fear, and suffering. The Mayan elite ruled not just with power, but with terror in the bedroom and on the altar. This was the true face of Mayan intimacy, not romance, not tenderness, but ritualized control. For the elite, sex was power, and power demanded blood.